Let's see about filling out an automatic daylighting form. Got my project name, Daylighting with Veronica, my system name. It's going to ask zone type. Unclear. We'll have a discussion on that, but I'll call it primary side lit. It is continuously dimmed. We don't have any design foot candles, okay? It is closed loop control, looking into the controlled zone, and you have to use a handpiece to set it up, so therefore the controls are appropriately located. Now the controls are located properly for sure if they're a handpiece. You need either this or the LM-CT100 to adjust this system, so that's appropriately located. Have the manuals been provided? They should be to the building owner, and light sensor shown on plans. Guess what? That is not in the standards. That is not a genuine requirement. So just draw them on your plans. Are the right lamps being controlled? And has daylighted control been certified in accordance with 110.9? Well, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Now we are pretty obviously doing continuous dimming control, light meter measurement. So we would be checking this off on the first page of the form and going then directly to the proper section of the form, which in our case is going to be page 6 of 11. These entries exist on the CalCTP website when you are doing these online electronically. I don't know about NLCAA. Initially, they had a pretty nice daylighting deal that would calculate the power reduction and all that. I gave them the point slope formula and all that, but I don't know. Once again, closed loop. We're going to say it's mandatory. This is kind of odd. Are the right ones being controlled? Luminaires, general lighting design, foot candles. You want to ignore that. Just going to get you into trouble, and there's no official place for it on the compliance forms. Power estimation method, we are going to use DFC, default foot candle cut sheet. You'll see why. Method used, illuminance or distance. I eyeballed it, distance. This is because you are probably going to put the sensor, your light meter, where it's going to work for you and where it's also going to work for the room. You're going to need a little thought behind where you put your reference location. Highest light level foot candles, we covered the sensor and it didn't come up from reference. It just plain flat for both our reference and our full output. We got 44 foot candles. So highest light level foot candles, 44. Is it full output or task tuned? We don't know. We know we're going to call it a full output system because covering the sensor did not take it up any higher. Actually, unless we have paperwork, this has been an item of contention, this entry, but unless we have paperwork telling us that the lights do not go to full output when you cover the sensor, you're to consider it to be full output. Method used came at night, so it says night. Reference illuminance, same as full output, that was 44. Is this 44 within 70% of 44? Why, yes, it certainly is. This is being eliminated for 2019, the mysterious line K, because we don't really know what it's for. Could have had something to do with the advent of LED lighting, and at 70% that lighting would be out of its spec if you were to tune it down more than 70%. I don't know. Let's just get rid of line K. Full daylight test conducted when daylight greater than the reference illuminance. Yeah, we did ours with the daylight at the reference illuminance, and we had full dim down. So daylight illuminance for our full daylight, we had 44. Well, there we are. If I can get this in frame. 44 foot candles, full daylight. There we go. 44 foot candles, full daylight. Is it greater than the reference illuminance? Well, it's the same. So I'm going to say yes. We'll say it's 44.1. There you go. Remember, these are light meter readings, and they are a little on the odd side. Okay, so that's line little m. Line little n, how many of the lights turned off under full daylight conditions? None of them did. 0%. Nor will they if I put a strong light on it. Fractional controlled wattage dimmed, it all dimmed. So that's 100%. Flip the page. Actually go to the next page. By the way, if you're doing the Cal CTP forms, you will require this graph because they do not calculate the estimated power reduction for you. So, if the fraction of controlled wattage turned off, which was none, is less than 100%, and it is, we need to do our full daylight combined. We need to make this entry. Otherwise, if all the lighting turned off, we know we're done. But we're going to need our full day combined reading of 46.7 or 46.5, right? And we know that our daylight that we put in to get it was 44, basically. So now that leaves us with 2.5 for electric. So the combined minus the daylight equals the electric. Then what fraction of the reference is 2.5? Well, 2.5 divided by 44 is going to give us 5.7%. So 5.7%. So now they're asking you what percentage of illumination is still left in the room. We then go to our graph. We find 5.7% is about there. We go up. We go over. We've got our maximum reduction off the fluorescent line of 20%. So that's what they're asking in line little s. 20%. So that means that our system power reduction is from 100 to 20%, and that's 80%. Let me make a few remarks here. Line little r, 5.7% is the amount of illumination still left in the room under full daylight conditions, down from 100%. Line little r is where we find our x-axis value of 5.7% or so. We then take our y-axis reading, and that goes into line little s, and line t is 100% minus line little s. Is that greater than 65%? It is. It's 80. So that's a yes. With uncontrolled, okay. Is the lighting working properly in the room? Is it flickering? Do you have the right ones dimmed? Are they flickering? Whatever. Partial daylight test. Let's do this one real quick. We put in 35 foot candles of daylight for our partial daylight. And there we enter that on line little x, the amount of daylight we put in. They want to know, is that between 60 and 95%? So we take 35 foot candles divided by 44, our reference off line little j, and I've got 79.5, we'll call it 80%. Next line wants to know, is 80% between 60 and 95%? Yes, it is. Then we want our partial daylight combined reading, which is 49.5 foot candles, so 49.5. Then they want you to divide 49.5, which is your partial daylight combined reading, by the original reference illumination of 44. I get 1.125, so 113%. Is 113% between 100% and 150%? Yes, it is. And that's a complete daylighting test. And if you're clever, you can get them to work this way in the field too. The sort of response that we saw from this system, if you were at your leisure and able to create this graph out in the field, you would indeed get a nice, neat thing like this typically. I do. Well, that's it. That's how to fill out the daylighting form, paper version, January 2016 version.